Awesome. Okay, so my name is Bronson and I'm here to talk to you about gamifying WordPress. So a bit of an overview of what I'll be talking about, who I am, why WordPress, which Gal's done an awesome job of covering, so I'll flip through that slide fairly quickly. What excites me about WordPress, a brief of the project that this whole talk's based around, examples of some challenges, which will make more sense when we get to that bit, the core plugins that we use to do all of this, the theme we use, a little bit about WordPress, using achievements, which is a plugin by Paul Gibbs that adds gamification to your WordPress site. I'll be talking about some moderator roles on the site and what they have to do, and a few statistics about how this site was used. So who am I? I'm a WordPress only developer, that's all I do. I work at Sensor and we specialise in corporate WordPress web design, themes and plugin development. Some of our clients include Google, News Corp, Warner Chain, Queensland Government, and some annoying meerkats that you might know from the TV. And also I'm a die-hard Smashing Pumpkins fan, so I'm not just all about WordPress, there's that. So why WordPress? Well, Gal's covered it exceptionally well, so I can skip over this pretty much. The only one thing that I'd like to point out here is that WordPress powers 20% of the internet, which is freaking incredible. So that's a great reason to use WordPress. Also, it's awesome, which Gal said, but the updates now that they're doing for the next two release cycles, 3.7 and 3.8, are pretty amazing, and it's going to take WordPress to the next level. So we'll be using modern tools like Grunt, and there'll be unit testing. There should be CSS preprocessors too. So a lot of this stuff, people who don't use WordPress laugh at us because we're not using that now, but we're going to be doing that, so hopefully we'll be taken a little bit more seriously. So what excites me about WordPress? The main thing that excites me is when I see WordPress used in unusual ways. So not just the blog, and not just the CMS, just weird stuff that we would never have seen or expected from WordPress. So one example of that is a plugin that we wrote for Google, the Google App Engine. So if you don't know what App Engine is, basically it's hosted, Google's kind of hosting for massive sites that get spikes in traffic, and this environment will automatically scale up and down your instances so your site won't go down. So with WordPress, everyone's used to using it in a normal way. However, what we had to do was write a plugin that took over the mail so that it would use Google's Gmail instead of the normal mail that it used to on most posts. And also the media, because you can't actually write to the file system of Google App Engine, we needed to intercept all the media and write it to Google's cloud storage. So essentially you have these two things working simultaneously. So we really had to push the limits there to get that done. So that was a really unusual use for us because we've never had to do that before. There's a hello bar plugin, which you've probably seen on websites. It pops up at the top and you can click it and it'll disappear. People use that to advertise all sorts of things. And they use WordPress to power their whole sign-up process, because you can also get a paid version, there's a free version. And when you're signing up and like interacting, downloading things, you're in their back end, it's all powered by WordPress, but you don't even know, so it's a really cool use case. Compare the meerkat was fun for us because we use custom post types, which are meerkats, and basically if you've used the site, you compare meerkats and meerkats, and that's all powered through WordPress, so that was pretty cool. I really like WordPress being used in application framework, so because it's so fast to develop things, people are looking at WordPress and saying, okay, I've got to build an app, for mobile app, for example, but I don't want to do everything from the ground up. How can I leverage WordPress to power this app? So people are doing things like that now because it's keeping costs down and it's fast to develop. So stuff like that excites me, and gamifying WordPress is exciting. So that's why I'm here to talk about that. So the brief, we were approached by the University of Chicago. They had an idea where they wanted a fictitious character who was a 17-year-old African-American girl living in Chicago. And she's basically, her mother, as you can read there, her mother won't let her leave the house. So she needed to have a site where she could talk and interact with people online. Now, what they were doing by doing this, they wanted all the students in the university to kind of interact with this fictional character, and they created teams. So you'd have 10 people, players on a team, and they all have to compete because this fictitious character would post challenges on the site. So a challenge might be, say, going to the shops or going to a certain point and meeting there. And the people on the site had to prove that they'd done these things, and the moderators would actually say yay or nay, whether they get awards and badges. So for this, we ended up using a plugin called Achievements. Actually, I'll give some better examples of challenges first. So the challenge could be just logging onto the site. It could be commenting on a post, updating avatar, user profile. So they're all online things, but also there were these offline parts. So treasure hunts, decoding puzzles, completing assignments. So the students would have to turn up to an assignment like a class, do an assignment, and then say, hey, I've done this, and then the admin people would say, yes, they have or they haven't, and they'd get points and badges, depending on whether they've done that, and things like liking images around the site. So that was just a few. We ended up with 66 challenges in total, so there's a lot there. I just wanted to pick a few so you can get a bit of an idea of what was happening. So the core plugins. BuddyPress, that was the main one, kind of powering everything underneath it. Now, BuddyPress, if you don't know what that is, it's essentially a social network for WordPress. So you can have forums, you can have activity streams, you can have all sorts of amazing stuff. It's a very, very powerful plugin. It can be a little bit overwhelming to new users, but it's fabulous. And then the main plugin that does all the gamification is Achievements by Core Gibbs. And then Gamification was another essential one. And as you can see, we had 28 plugins in total on the site, so quite a few, but not too many. Now, for the theme, we did something that breaks our process. So normally we do design, theme development, plugin development, so everything from scratch. However, we had amazingly tight time frames, just for a change from clients. So we ended up having to use Theme Forest theme for this, which I don't normally like doing because you don't know what the code's like until you buy it. And in this case, it was bad code. But the client wanted this look and feel, so I had to pretty much recode the whole thing from scratch. Had to make it responsive, because even though they were talking about responsive the whole time, they picked a thing that wasn't responsive, so we had to fix that up. And funnily enough, after this site went up, the theme had been removed from the theme forest, so I sent her a few unhappy people with the code. I didn't put in a complaint there, but I had a bit of a chuckle when I looked for it this afternoon and it disappeared. So this is what the theme looks like just on your desktop. So nice and clean and simple. And then there's a few views on your mobile. So we've got the sidebar you can see. If you click on the item the left there, it'll slide out. You can slide back in. Then I've just got the menu expanded so you guys can see what that looks like. So BuddyPress, which I mentioned earlier, we didn't use all of the functionality in there. The main one was the groups. So you can actually have people in groups. So for this, we use that to have teams. And another thing that I did in this project that I hadn't done before was I used a language file to change terminology. Now what I mean by that is essentially WordPress is translatable in all sorts of different languages around the world. And to do that, there are things called language files that basically translators will go through and they'll go say, okay, this in Russian is blah, 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 and it just takes all the strings and your themes and plugins and turns them into a file. So for this project, the client was always referring to achievements as challenges, and internally they've been talking about this project, so the word challenges to them was familiar. So I wanted to make sure that it didn't say achievements in the back end when they were using it. So I used a language file and just said, okay, I'm going to change everything, every reference to groups to teams. And then there's something I've never done before, but I'll probably do it again. And that way, you know, so you're not going to break, that's not going to break when the plugin is updated because of the way that's done, so that's great too. So if you actually went into the plugin and hacked all of that, and then there's a plugin update, you hit update, it's all gone. So it would say achievements, teams, groups instead of teams. And the other element we used in BuddyPress was extended profiles, so you can just have a few custom questions, and you have a profile page and that list So that's an idea of the backend. So that's what's normally referred to as groups, but that's teams. So we had all the teams there, and the staff allocated 10 players per team. That's a team page there that just had some custom functionality. So we had to check whether a team had made a comment, and then just those active comments, whether they uploaded images. So it was all very dynamic. And the players at the bottom, so you can click through their profile. This is a screenshot from the extended profiles section in WordPress. So you can see there's just a few questions there. So that's what it looks like on the back end. And then here's his profile where we list out those items there on the left. Then we have a list of the challenges down the bottom, and it shows whether they're locked or unlocked. So achievements, written by Paul Gibbs, who works for WordPress VIP. He's done the gamification basic stuff, and you can earn points by triggering achievements. We also created hidden achievements because they wanted to have kind of surprise things, so people would kind of discover these challenges that they didn't know were there. We had team achievements, which is just basically if all the 10 people on the team have unlocked a certain achievement, then another one would trigger and they get bonus points there. We also did limited achievements, which could be time limited, so something might only happen once per day, or it could have been this person can only do this 3 times a day, or something like that. And the big part of this project, and of course the amazing thing about open source is, because it's all open source, we could actually contribute patches back to Paul's plugin. So during the process, we found quite a few bugs and fixed them up, did pull requests, and Paul was amazingly fast at putting them in. And we also created a leaderboard, which didn't exist. And now that's been put into achievements as well, just a slight variation of what we've done. But yeah, amazing things come out of open source, so it's always great to give back. If you're using someone else's plugin and you modify it, and you can get in contact with them, just say, hey, I modified your plugin, I don't know if you want to use that. They might say yes, they might say no, but it's always good to give back. So this is the standard achievements plugin. You'll notice that I'm using MP6, which skins the look of the WordPress dashboard. This is where the new direction of the WordPress backend theme as such is headed. So I just wanted to pop it in one slide so you can check it out if you haven't seen it, because it's pretty damn sexy. You'll see on the right hand side, this is just how you manage an achievement. So an achievement is a custom post type, and you can see how many points you get, the type. So there's awards and events. So an event-based thing is triggers when something fires in WordPress. So for example, when you log in, an event fires. When you publish a post, an event fires. So you can do that way, or you can have awards, which we had to use for examples of when the kids turned up to do an assignment, or whether they completed an assignment. They'd have to say, hey, I've done this, but there was no action in WordPress for that. So it's an award, so the moderator would go, yes, you've done it, and then award that achievement to them. You can see the little usability box. There's a drop down there where you can pick some events that are already in WordPress, and we also had to write quite a few custom ones based on plugins we were using and things like that. Then the number of times the event will repeat, and then redemption code. So a few times people had to find a code, or they'd have to go somewhere, say there might be graffiti on the wall, put this word in, and you'll unlock an achievement. So you could use that there. So we just put in whatever code, and the students would go to the site and find the little place to unlock that and unlock things with that. So now this is some of the extra stuff that we've done. So you can see that there's a challenge admin description now for that. Sometimes the admins had to kind of leave notes to each other to say, hey, don't award this to this person, or this is how this is applied. So that's a little custom note for them. Challenge unlock message, when you actually unlock the challenge, which I'll show in a second. There's a big light box, and they wanted a bit more control over what content appeared there, so we gave them that section. Team bonus, you'll see, is for the team challenges. So there's a little bit of functionality there. Basically, that would just go and search all the other achievements and put them in a list, and they'd pick one that was to trigger the team achievement. And then, yeah, there's limited stuff for multiple unlocks or limiting how many times the things fire. So that's an example of what happens when someone's unlocked an achievement. So they get achievement unlocked, a little badge, and a bit of description. And then there was a leaderboard, so that's the team leaderboard, just lists who's on top, essentially. Nice and simple. Then we've got the moderator roles, so people powering the site, obviously you've got the user base, but you need people to maintain and monitor all this stuff. So they're able to add users, moderate comments, because given the fact that it's kids and young adults, teenagers, you've got to worry about what some of the things might be said, because they might not be very mature, so they might post inappropriate images and things like that, so everything needs to be moderated by these moderators. They're also able to create challenges and achievements and then award these achievements to people. So the stats, this was a 4-week project, so they had challenges each week and there was a lot of activity on the site. 147 players, 17 admins, 82 challenges, 1,141 comments and 464 images were uploaded. The activity on the site was amazing when you think about, okay, there was only 147 players, but there are 141 comments. That's pretty good, like good interaction. So yeah, thanks a lot. Any questions? Okay, so there's a running joke, because obviously a lot without space in the middle isn't a word. If you go to that track ticket, you'll see that it's one of the most hilarious things you'll see in WordPress track, and they just make jokes about this a lot, and then it turns into a lot monster. I think Dion's got a picture of a cake and a lot cake in there, or someone commented. Yeah, it's a hilarious thread. I love it. I check it because people update it every couple of months just with silly a lot jokes. Yeah, it's just a running joke that I like.
It's from the oatmeal.
Oh, is it?
Oatmeal comic.
Oh, there you go.
It came up with me a lot.
Ah.
Because they like the idea of a creature called me a lot, but bad grammar.
Oh, there you go. I didn't realise that. Awesome. So any questions other than a lot? Yep.
Did your client have WordPress in mind before they approached you?
Yes, they did, and they'd also used the achievements plugin just to kind of see, like, do a proof of concept and a prototype. So yeah, they pretty much picked that out. We did give an alternate solution, which is called a plugin called Badge OS, which does a lot of the similar kind of things, but we preferred to use Paul's because it's been around longer. He was always good at updating it, and we wanted to give some stuff back because we'd used the plugin before but never had a chance to extend it. So, yeah, they had essentially picked WordPress and just a prototype a few things.
Right.
Yeah.
How much time did it take you to create this?
I think 4 weeks in memory. 4? Yeah, 4 weeks. That was,
For just you or your team?
for the team, so yeah, there was
So
four
you
of us
created-
working on that. So. Yeah.
Can you give me an idea of budget?
Probably can't disclose that, unfortunately. Back.
Great presentation, Bronson.
Thanks.
With BuddyPress, did the theme that you purchased off Theme Forest, did that have BuddyPress already hooked into it?
No,
How did you do it?
Yeah, that's something I should have touched on. So, BuddyPress, if you haven't used it in the last couple of versions, it actually has theme compatibility. So you don't have to worry about whether a theme works or not, it'll just work. So, any theme you have now, you can use BuddyPress on it and it'll just work, which is amazing. Like, it's a huge amount of work that they did. A bit like BBPress, if you've used it, you can activate it in anything and it just works. So yeah, they took a lot of the BBPress stuff, put it into BuddyPress, so yeah, you can just use BuddyPress on anything you want, which is fabulous.
And is it, I used it at this time last year where you had to literally manually insert it into WordPress framework.
Yeah, don't have to do that anymore. It's amazing.
Yeah, and is it responsive out of the box too, or did you have to?
No,
modify it to
yeah, that's the only thing,
responsive?
it wasn't responsive out of the box.
Yeah, okay. And that was the latest version of
Yeah.
BuddyPress used for the site.
Yeah.
Yeah, fantastic. Excellent, thank you.
Cool.
A question on site speed.
Yep.
I believe that one of the ranking factors for the big G is going to be how fast your site loads.
Correct.
And I guess that you've had a huge amount of media in here, media being data, text, images and stuff. What did you do to the data to keep the site loading really quickly?
In terms of this, we suggested to the client that they host with a company called WP Engine, who does amazing hosting. They cache everything, use a CDN. However, because it's a university, they wanted to have all this, their own stuff on their own server, so we just had to make recommendations about caching solutions. We actually sent a link to show them what WP Engine used, so they kind of emulated a lot of that. But that was unfortunately handled internally. We would have loved to use WP Engine, but yeah, and that was fine in terms of the site went down, and yeah, it was cached